And a pleasant good afternoon to you from the KXAN Live studios. I'm Billy Gates, and today is Thursday, so of course we're talking about high school sports, specifically football, and our KBVO game of the week tonight between Manor and Vista Ridge up at Gupton Stadium. That's a 7 p.m. kick. You can watch it all on KBVO with Roger Wallace, our sports director. He's going to be out there calling the game. Roger, thanks for dropping by before you head out there. As you're planning for this game, as you're doing your spotting boards and kind of doing your research, I mean, what kind of jumps out about this game?
Well, we've had both teams, so that always helps. Second time around, we had Vista Ridge really early in the season in week 2, and then we had Manor just a couple of weeks ago. So a little familiarity, and Manor's one of those teams. There's a lot of talent, but they had to replace a lot as well, and so they've just struggled to kind of get over the hump with one district win. This is huge for Vista Ridge. They're right in the thick of things in 25-6A at 3-2. So if they get this one tonight with 2 weeks to go, they're in a great spot to get one of those top 4 spots. Really, it's 4 teams for 2 in that district. Vandergrift and Round Rock pretty much locked in. Vandergrift undefeated 5-0. Round Rock, they've already had they haven't had their open date, so they're 5-1. So they only have 2 2 district games to play. So this Vista Ridge, McNeil, Cedar Ridge, and Hutto's got an outside shot. Those 4 are looking for those 2 spots.
Yeah, right now, Vista Ridge and Hutto tied for third at 3-2, but you're kind of seeing Hutto maybe take some hits later in the season, or just kind of give us that idea of what that second half of that district could look like.
Well, one hit might come tomorrow because they're playing at Vandergrift.
Yeah.
And the other big one this weekend in that district is McNeil and Cedar Ridge. So if Cedar Ridge wins that, they get to 4-3 with just one district game to go. They're in great shape. If McNeil gets in it, then you start mucking things up because that puts them at 3-3. So it's going to come down to the last weekend for those 4 spots. And Manor and Westwood, they're going to try to kind of be in the fly in the ointment and mess some things up. Yeah. And, if it gets to a second half, a fourth quarter game with so much on the line, that's when, you play free and easy if you're Manor, and maybe Vista starts thinking about it. So hopefully we'll have a good ball game tonight. Should be a great evening. A little warmer than we'd like in late October.
No kidding.
Should be a nice evening.
Yeah, no kidding. At 7 p.m. up at Gupton Stadium. Again, that's going to be on KBVO. Roger, Keith, and Noah will have all the action for you there. Now, Friday's action out on the gridiron around here, there's a little rivalry game happening called the Battle of the Lakes. That's going to be, of course, Westlake and Lake Travis, 2 of the top 10 teams in Texas 6A football. That's going to be on KXAN.com. For those in the Austin area, for those outside the Austin area, you're going to have to watch it on the FHS network. Subscription fees to apply. But if you're in Austin, you can watch that game, and boy, Roger, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's really cool, and that's a great chance for folks to watch it for free. Now, so much of high school football is behind the paywall, so that should be fun. Lake Travis, the undefeated team. Westlake got such an anomaly the way they got worked against the Atascocita.
That game was crazy.
Yeah, but other than that, obviously they've dominated, including a big second half in their opener against a good Prosper team. But this should be fun. I mean, Lake Travis, I talked to some retired high school coaches in Texas, Central Texas, that I respect, and they think maybe LT has the advantage on the perimeter with the skill, maybe Westlake at the line of scrimmage, so should be a great chess match. You got 2 good quarterbacks, obviously. The tradition in this game, the rivalry in this game, it's at Lake Travis, so they get them at Cavalier Stadium. The other part of the puzzle, as we were talking, Billy, is not with Westlake and Lake Travis, but what happens in District 26-6A if, say, Austin High sitting at 2-2, Bowie's at 1-3. Let's assume Drip gets in. If Austin High gets in, Bowie's left out, then you've got Lake Travis and Westlake sitting in D1, so you're looking at a potential rematch down the road in the playoffs. So that's the other component to the last 3 weeks of the regular season in 6A. Who's up, who's down, to project out for the playoffs.
It is always a fun game to play, the enrollment game, to see who figures out who's going to be put in Division 1 or Division 2.
It's just hard to explain to people.
Right.
What? You look at the enrollment, but it does bring an interesting element in.
Yeah, because 6A is not split up for the entire season like 5A, 4A, 3A, and 2A, and 1A, so they all just rely on whoever makes the playoffs. The 2 bigger schools out of the district gets to be in Division 1. the two smaller schools out of the four get to be in Division II. So it's one of those kind of like who's got the advantage enrollment wise, which I mean is a weird thing to think about.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily that Division One is always the tougher division in 6A. But yeah, a few years ago, they took that equation out, and it's 5A, D1, D2, and et cetera, down the classifications.
Yeah.
But big weekend, obviously, with Lake Travis and Westlake, and then projecting to next week, that Austin High Bowie matchup. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Are there any other games going on Friday that have kind of come across your desk and you kind of think, that could be a good one too?
Yeah, Hayes Anderson, because I think the winner of that one's got a good shot at making the playoffs in 12-5A
Sure.
D1. Looking at Leander and Rouse. Leander's had a nice turnaround. They're sitting at 3-1. Rouse at 2-2 and 8-5A D1. So I think the winner of that game has a great shot at getting in the postseason. Those are the two that really stick out, other than obviously Westlake and Lake Travis, as far as when you're talking about.
Right.
And the other cool thing, it's a lot like auto racing, Billy, and watching F1 this weekend at Circuit of the Americas. We never saw the leader.
No.
We always saw that battle for third.
Right.
And this is kind of where we are in high school football. Not necessarily about who's going to win district, but who's going to get that fourth spot and get into the playoffs, because then they start it over. And if you get to play into November a little bit, usually your season's a pretty good success. And for some of these programs, it's a great success to get to play past 10 games.
Yeah, so I mean, so you're saying Westlake and Lake Travis are the Ferrari cars that led the entire race?
Yeah, and we never saw Charles Leclerc out of Coda for I swear it was over 20 laps. We never saw him. It was that Lando Norris and Max Verstappen battle for third.
Had no idea who was out front until someone said it. Yeah. Didn't know that, and it's a good analogy. Thursday tonight, KBVO Game of the Week, Manor and Vista Ridge up at Gupton, 7 p.m. KBVO is where it's going to be. And then Friday, we've got the Battle of the Lakes, Westlake and Lake Travis. Should be a tremendous ball game. I believe that's a 7:30 start.
7:30.
7:30 start out at Cavalier Stadium. That'll be on KXAN.com.
You monitor that, Billy. I
do.
Know. We get a good audience, don't we?
We get a tremendous audience, especially for that game.
Yeah, that's really
cool.
So
we're looking forward to serving all the viewers out there who are interested in that game. Obviously, it's a big one. Two of the best programs, not even in Central Texas, in all of Texas.
Yep.
And it's always a great ball game.
It's a sellout. The congestion out there, it's not the easiest place to maneuver around.
No, 620 around Lakeway is pretty
if you don't
terrible.
have a ticket, you want to make your life a little easier, just flip on the computer and fire up KXAN.com to watch that one.
We've got it for you. The Westlake Technical Entertainment crew, they do a nice job with the production. A lot of students are involved in that too. So it's a really, really cool learning environment for those kids out there to really get into the broadcasting business. It's really great. All righty, well, we will end it right there. Thank you so much for watching. For Roger Wallace, I'm Billy Gates, and we'll talk to you again very soon.